When I was growing up, I went to school at cathedral grade school, and we had Dominican sisters, and they made sure we knew all of those things that we were obliged to do as Catholics. Catholic obligation comes from the precepts of the church, those basic things that we're supposed to do as Catholics. And number one in the precepts is to attend and participate in Mass on Sundays and on holy days of obligation. In the United States, there's really only about 6 of them, and a couple of them always fall on a Sunday. So really there's only about 4 that we go to outside of the Sunday obligation. I think that God does have an expectation of us to show up for Mass on holy days of obligation because He has placed the church in charge of bringing forth the faith, of bringing forth those important moments. I think it helps us as Catholics to know more about our faith, to know just those holy moments in our history as Christians, as Catholics, so that we can celebrate God, know God better, and to honor and pray with God in more deep and maybe even more effective ways. Our culture has gotten us to this point where we think that we're not really obliged to do anything religious or spiritual. That's the first thing. And the second thing is some people might think, take it the other extreme and think, well, I'm obliged to go, so I better drag myself in there. Certainly it is an obligation that we practice as Catholics, but it is still an opportunity to honor all the saints like we did recently. We remember these things so that as we go forth in our faith, all of it starts to make better sense to us. Sometimes there's a good reason. There's a can't. I can't go to Mass on that day because of something that's really important in my life, or I'm sick or something like that. But there's also the won't. I won't go because I don't want to go, or I just would rather not go. That's the time when you get into the stepping outside of what the Church has asked us to do as Catholics. If you do happen to miss the Holy Day of Obligation, I think you do a couple of things. One is, if you remember it later, you think, oh my gosh, I missed that, or maybe you realized it on the day and just didn't go. I think that you take care of it in the best way we have as Catholics. Go to confession, pay attention to the church calendar, and get to those very important holy days of the year.